In action, we are live. How's it going?
It's going. How are you?
Okay, maybe slide a little bit to your right.
I will slide this way.
Right, it's good under the light here.
There
So
we go. Mood lighting,
okay.
highlight all my
Excellent.
features.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. So give us your name.
My name's Alex Obwan.
Alex. Okay, and what's today's date?
Today is the 7th, September 7th.
2016.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and where are we?
We're at Surf Incubator here in the
Okay.
Wells Fargo building, but we're at the headquarters for Chronos Global Academy.
Excellent. And so how long have you been working for Chronos now?
I've been working for Chronos for a couple months.
Okay.
As I got to know Ricardo a little bit, I decided to just jump in fully recently here and just help out with the mission that we're doing.
Okay, and what's the mission?
The mission is basically global outreach. We want to teach immersive technologies, virtual reality, augmented reality, HoloLens, Vive, you name it. We want to teach and equip the world with the ability to develop content for
Okay.
it or help progress the industry.
Excellent. And so what was your inspiration to get involved in the whole VR AR space?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I spent the last couple of years working for Microsoft at a company called Senec doing video wall technology, so digital display and signage, right? So I was already wrapping people around in 360 environments just with a huge expensive video wall. And so when VR finally arising again, I said, I know a lot of the techniques, not to make people sick, how to lead the attention eye around, the render times. Why don't I carry that in a VR? And so that's when I started really getting interested into it. So.
Cool. So were you able to go to CIFX this year?
I did not, no.
No, okay.
Mm-mm.
But you know what happened, though. Saturday International Film Festival brought in virtual reality to it.
Oh, cool. I
they-
actually worked on some films that were in it. Usually every year I'm in the Stiff and Sif. So,
Okay.
So beta test was this year. I did 2 VFX call-outs for that one in the
Cool.
credits. And...
So your background education-wise, you have a degree or?
Yeah, so I've been a student in colleges for about 9 or 10 years. I say I'm a student for life. I've started nursing, and then I went in emergency medicine. I was in the military for a long time. I went to art school, and so I have a really kind of plush background. I always change. So my wife's super awesome with sticking with me through all
Cool.
that stuff. But
So-
there's always something new to do. You know?
That's true. So you born and raised here in Seattle, or just,
So
you
I was
mentioned
born
military.
in Minnesota, but I grew
okay.
up here in the Northwest.
Okay.
Northwest Fresh.
Right.
So I'm in a small town called Eatonville. It's by Mount Rainier. So
Okay.
countryside, and then slowly developed more towards the city as I grew
Right,
older.
right. So what was fascinating tonight, you were talking about the global partnership that you're trying to do, and you're getting ready to go down to, not Mexico, but to
Brazil. Yeah.
And because one of the classes that you're teaching here is actually going to be a daily class, not a weekly class.
Correct.
So maybe you can describe both of them. The weekly class that you had here, which was in Unity,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. And for those that are not we're live now, so maybe people don't know what Unity is. So maybe you can give a quick background description of what that is.
And so the school, we teach immersive technologies, and sometimes that means game engines and stuff, right? So how do you develop content for these devices? And so there's 2 major game engines. It's Unreal and Unity. So the one we just started, it's called Unity for Designers. It's anyone off the street who wants to come in and start developing content for VR using Unity, go to this course. It's a 6-week course. It's 1 night a week. It's only 3 hours, right? It's a perfect time. Intermit, close encounter with the instructor and stuff. You get one-on-one attention. We don't want big classes and stuff. We want to get you start developing now with the tools that you need, right? And so that's one of the courses that we're going to be taking over to Brazil and expanding it deeper, right? So we'll help equip and train their instructors and stuff, make sure that they're solid enough to start teaching the classmates and people who are hungry down there. Because our CEO actually is from Brazil. And a big thing for him was growing up, trying to get a hold of new technology was hard, right?
Right.
And so he's got this huge heart to go back there because they're dying for technology, right? And so we want to help provide that.
Okay. So that was my question. Why Brazil? Why not like Africa, or why not Venezuela, or why not some place where?
Yeah, and so we're looking at South America right now as well, and even in Asia. Part of that is we need the community's help, right? So tell us you need us there. There's a community for it, so we can come outreach to you. We can find out who we need to get in contact with to make something happen. Even if it's just a visit. Like, if you need it, let's help you get it, right?
So we're not and that includes cities in the country.
Sure.
Even
right.
neighborhoods right here in Seattle.
Mhm.
On the south end, maybe we're near the beach. You have
right.
okay.
And that's part of why we want to expand and have the lab portion is so for people or kids who can't afford the technology of a Vive or a HoloLens, they can just come here and start creating content. We'll give them the space for that. So that way, if they want to do it, they can do it, right?
Okay.
If they need the education, then we can provide that as well. So there's a lot of different avenues we're trying to give everyone.
Excellent. So as a private citizen, if I have an idea for a game and I want it to come out on the iPhone or the Android, I can come to you and have you guys develop it? How's that work?
I would say if it's a game oriented towards maybe like the Pokemon game, it's an augmented reality game, right? So things in that industry, come here and be like, I have an interesting idea, here it is.
Okay.
And I'll say, okay, I know these two guys who are dying to do something and fall in line with what you're doing.
Okay.
And then just connect you guys. And then you guys take off and do whatever it is that you can do, right? And we'd love to see the growth of that happen.
So you're like a partnership kind of deal. So you're not actually teaching the person how to do it, but you're, again, connecting people together in a network kind of thing.
Yeah, so we're teaching people how to do things or certain tasks or work with certain engines or educate them to work with a lot of this technology like the HoloLens. No one in the world has access to that education to the public like this. This is the first time, and so we're able to offer that even with the Microsoft MVP, right?
Right.
And so for some things, it's a matter of teaching you, right, and then letting you see what happens. But sometimes someone walks to the door, has got an idea. Well, we meet new people all the time, and we love our community, right? So I know all those guys and what they're good at, and when you tell me something right away, I'm like, oh, that's Eric Newman. That comes up to my mind, or this guy, or whatever, and then like I'll plug you in. And we don't want a part of that. We just want to see it grow, right? So even though we have the school and this business, this organization was what we are basically, we'll still network you and stuff because the general heart's there, right? So it's like, how can we help out?
Okay. So I've been going around saying that every single aspect of American culture has been affected by somebody either born, lived, or died in Seattle.
Well, that's a big question. I suppose it depends on what the context of that is.
Every single aspect of American culture has been affected by somebody that was either born, lived, or died in Seattle.
So is that just based off that, like, Nirvana came from here?
Well, that music is slammed by Ray Charles.
Sure,
we got Quincy Jones. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's no problem.
Well, the amazing thing of why we even have our headquarters here in Seattle is part of that entrepreneurs, just people with ideas, they just come here. You know? Like, we had a student... He called me on the phone driving up from LA, and he's like, I just left LA. I'm driving up to Seattle because that's where I heard VR is. How can I get plugged in? And I'm like, dude, come here immediately. I need to meet you, right?
Wow.
And so there's just this vibe in Seattle, and there's all these startups and companies that are going on, like Vire 360 and all these other, like HoloSparks, the studio that just released their first VR experience, and it's like, this is awesome, right? How do we keep the momentum going? Because people are hungry here, right? But what will be nice to see from the city is some sort of break or something. Even like for filmmakers, they have a hard time with this.
That's true.
Some sort of subsidization to do projects here. Because all the guys are here and they want to do the work, but movies have a $3 million limit cap on it.
Right.
If you want Transformers here, there has to be a no limit. So where do we get those breaks?
Wow.
So it'd be very interesting to see the city get involved and help the curation out of this East Side and West Side do something.
So you say East Side and West Side. Talk about Seattle.
Like Redmond, Bellevue and stuff, and then over here.
That's another interesting aspect because I just said every single aspect, but one of the aspects that didn't happen is education, K through 12 education. Seattle isn't really been put on the map as far as advancement in education, except for the strike for the testing that happened, right? But if you look at the stats and statistics, Bellevue always has a high school in the top 10 for the whole entire state.
And Mercer Island.
But I mean, and they're not that far away, right? I mean, it's a bridge, but it's only like...
Yeah, I suppose I would think of like, I grew up in a country town, super small school, graduating class of like 40 maybe, or something, right? My wife, she grew up in the city, and so to come to her, because we met when we were 15, 16, to come to her high school and see people actually go to the library and study and all the resources they were using, it was amazing. But there's a lot more people here, and so they got more funding.
Right.
But even though to say Mercer Island, this I'm assuming, would say like, well, you guys have all this money, you have all these wonderful facilities there, why not stretch it out? Maybe they are, we don't know about it, but there's a ton of people that go to that school district, which is huge, so they probably need that on there. So then I think the question is maybe how do their local areas raise funding from the people that live there?
Exactly.
Right? It's like, well, I want my kid to go to Mercer Island because it's the best school district, so I bus them over there. But you live here. Invest in the community you live in, right? And that's what I think we need to cause awareness for and stuff like that.
That's true.
It's very interesting. I mean, even now, like the churches in the past are always a huge resources for local areas, and they kind of stepped away from that. And the churches are sitting there like, we want to help you out, but you need to come connect with us.
Right.
Your school needs 500 backpacks. Let us know. We'll make that happen.
Okay.
But people aren't reaching out. They're just going somewhere else to get their needs handled.
So would you be willing to partner with the church and do some things like that?
Yeah, I mean, I already create content for my church. Doxa over in Bellevue. It's this non-denominational Christian church. Amazing people. But so I help them out in the art department wherever I can, or volunteering in kids department. But it's that sense of community, and it's interesting actually because that church is about missional communities. There's the Sunday we come together, right, and we gather and we get to worship together. But when we leave that church, it's 7 days
Exactly.
of worship, right? We
Right.
all have small communities. Like I'm in a community group in Carnation, so we try to outreach that community
Okay.
out there, and what can we do to support them, even if it's tearing down at the farmers market or
Right.
whatever. And so investing in your local community is amazing because you get to meet people and you get to see and hear what's going on. And I think there's a big disconnect
Okay.
with that right now.
So how can somebody contact you if they want to partnership with you?
They can go to chronosglobalacademy.org.
Okay.
Our emails will be listed there and they can get a hold of us. But
Okay.
yeah, we're always looking at how to connect and help our community because that's a big part of that, right? I mean, even outside of VR, AR, right? How do we create a healthy community?
Right.
And create more job stimulation, get more people here and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's just, yeah, I mean, the whole world needs help, right? And
That's
it just
true.
takes good people to start doing something
Exactly.
and then we'll see what happens.
That's beautiful. So that's any final words? I mean, that was good, but anything else?
No, I mean, we're just looking for support right now. Like I said, we're an organization, we're a school that wants to expose immersive technologies to the world, right? Even for kids, even if we can't set up a school, say in Mexico, if we can expose them to that technology, they'll start thinking how to solve their problems with it, even when we're not there. And then when someone comes back, they're ready to go, right? Or when that course is there, then they're ready to go. And so we need help doing that, though. It costs money, infrastructure. We need extra technology, and so even though we'll carry this torch and this burden, you know, obviously all of us can only carry so much on our shoulders, and we need a little help. So I would say that anyone who wants to come help and support us would be more than welcome and great, and then we would return that energy as much as we can.
Excellent. Okay. And your name again?
Alex Obwan.
Okay. Thanks, Alex.
Yep,
Appreciate that.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. God bless.
Yeah, you too.
Peace.